Welcome to the Matt O'Grady Coaching Podcast. This is where Matt shares all his ideas on how to be happier, more successful, and enjoy life to the fullest. Please go to mattogradycoaching.com and thelivinggratitudebook.com to learn more and receive your free micro-coaching session with Matt.
Hello, welcome to the Matt O'Grady Coaching Podcast, and today I get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, gratitude. I mean, it's right there in the title, so if you were looking for something else, hopefully you'll stick with us and see what we have to say today. Go to mattogradycoaching.com for any other information, to say hello, to let me know what you'd like to hear about from me. Been getting a ton of follow-up, follow-through, and outreach about what people would like to hear from me, and that means the world. It really does. It's like, holy crap, those download numbers are real. So anyway, I appreciate it. I want to send out a huge thank you to all of you over the last few months who have been, because I finally started asking, and you guys started responding. Imagine that, asking and receiving. It's such a novel concept, is it not? So gratitude, let's just back it up a little bit and talk about gratitude a little bit. So gratitude, for me, and the way that I work with my clients on gratitude, a gratitude practice, establishing a daily practice of gratitude, if not multiple times daily, because it's super easy to do. I mean, someone does anything nice for you ever, you can basically just immediately decide that you're going to be grateful. Regardless of any other past circumstances, current circumstances, future circumstances, you can take a few moments to be grateful. And what I mean by that is to feel good on the inside, to feel good emotionally, to allow yourself to appreciate the experience of receiving, to allow yourself to appreciate the experience of feeling good, to allow yourself to experience noticing goodness in your life, noticing things that you like in your life, that you appreciate, that you're grateful for, thankful for, the things that make you feel good, right? Because why would you be thankful for something that didn't make you feel good? I mean, sometimes tragedy happens or something we really don't like, right? And weeks, months, years later, often not days later, although I have had that experience, pretty exciting one to have, which is where something seems really terrible and all of a sudden, within a couple of days, it's turned around and you realize that it wasn't terrible at all. It's actually something good. And that happens all the time, doesn't it? Note to self, topic for another day, but really important, so spare time. But training ourselves to feel really good when good things happen, and for me, it's become like the core practice of my life. It really has. More than anything, the only other thing that I probably think about more and practice more and contemplate about more is my self-awareness practice, because to be grateful, I need to be self-aware enough to notice my emotional state, to connect with myself and know what's going on inside me, know what thoughts I'm thinking and what feelings I'm feeling. It may sound really easy and simple, and of course it is, but practicing self-awareness has its own journey. It really does, and it's my most beloved practice because it opens me up to so much love and joy and gratitude. But without that self-awareness practice, it's kind of hard to really experience all the other wonderful things that are available in this life. So that's the idea for today is this is the first of what will be dozens of podcasts and or blog posts and other mediums that we're going to get rocking here over the next few months, video, etc., to express gratitude and to kind of invite you in on the journey that I've been taking the last 20 plus years working with gratitude. And it's not that I haven't taken breaks from it, of consciously choosing and strategizing to focus on gratitude and having gratitude journals and a specific daily practice for at least many consecutive minutes I'm focused on the experience of gratitude. And all of that has brought just tremendous benefits to my life. Absolutely tremendous on every level of my being, from the spiritual to the emotional to the intellectual to the physical to the senses to my relationships to my connections to my appreciation for the present moment to so much. And I could just go on, but I want to get to the list and start the list. So what I'll do, the current format for this long-term project will be to talk about gratitude and my experience, do a little intro like this, like I've been doing for the last 5 minutes, and then dive right into the list. I may go longer sometimes than others because I'm really inspired. Like, for example, I want to talk all about how my Living Gratitude book is in the process of being approved at Amazon right now. So the book is going to be available, and I want to scream that from the rooftops. And I just did, so I'm going to stop there. But I'm super grateful about that. And, of course, you'll hear much more when it's available. So anyway, on to the list. And based on that last topic I just shared, I'd like to say, wow, I'm grateful for creativity. So that's what I'll start with. So I'll tell you a little bit about my life in creativity. So for a long time, I had this idea that I wasn't artistic, or I wasn't artistic enough. I had this really self-critical idea of myself that everybody knew more about music and art and kind of like beauty and writing and poetry. And I was just kind of a dumb jock trying to figure himself out, And the truth is, I've always been much more than that, but I was pretty shut off to a lot of what was possible in my life because I didn't practice any self-love. I wasn't self-aware, and my emotions and my mind were, just about driving me crazy, and wasn't all that happy, although I had lots of individual happy moments and even some super, super ecstatic highs. Kind of daily consistent happiness eluded me, and I would go days or weeks being depressed or sad or mad or upset. And one of the things, because of the way that I lived, that was really dampened was my creativity. So I wasn't comfortable talking about it, so I would write all these poems and write in these journals for years and years and years and never share it with anybody, unless I was super close with them. And I would share this little bit of my writing. And, sometimes I got really quality feedback and positive feedback. And other times it was kind of lukewarm at best. And so, my ego was not so comfortable with that. It made me feel very vulnerable. So I was like, man, if I'm really not super good at this, I'm just going to let it go. And then some years ago, I don't know, I started to let go of that idea of myself, and I started to embrace my creativity in my marketing businesses, in my work with clients, in my daily life, in the way I thought of myself. So I started telling a new story, and I started becoming grateful for the creativity that I did have, even though I judged myself really harsh, and so I wasn't feeling so great about it. I decided to compartmentalize it and just look at the creativity I did have. I asked myself the question, do I have any creativity? And the answer was a resounding yes. I couldn't deny it, that I was really creative. And then one of the greatest spiritual teachers of my life told me 12, 13 years ago, he said, we were talking about something, and I'm explaining a deep conflict I was having, and he said, you do realize you're an artist, right? And my whole body stopped. Everything in me stopped. Because I had so much respect for this man. I still do, although he's no longer with us in body. He's still one of my greatest teachers because I practice what he taught me every day. And so he's alive with me that way. And that's what it means the world to me. He led a glorious and amazing journey of a life, and he's helped so many tens of thousands of people. Just a true gift to the world, he was. And I'm super grateful to him for several hundred reasons, but I'm not going to go into those now, other than this specific question that he asked me. He said, "You do realize that you're an artist, right?" And he went on to explain to me what, in his opinion, was an artist, which was someone who likes to be creative. Had nothing to do with kind of the external judgment of what other people thought, or critics, or your family, or friends, or strangers, or anything else. None of that mattered. And to quote him, he said something along the lines of, "Who gives a fuck what anyone else thinks?" And I was like, yeah, that's right. Wish I really believed that. And I heard it in his voice, and it really woke something in me deep down that was already attempting to awaken my whole life, and I just kept kicking it back down into its hole, like, damn you, artist kind of thing. I'm not comfortable with that, or whatever it is I was telling myself, but I'd cut myself off at the knees to give you a really painful metaphor every time. But it had been really awakening in me, and I had started all sorts of businesses and helped all sorts of other people with their creative projects, but I had never done my own. And then I opened my own magazine, a custom publishing company, and I did have a business partner, but, it was our business, and I wasn't just working for someone. I wasn't working for a small or large corporation. I was working for myself, and I was able to get creative, although I wasn't able to get as creative as I had hoped. So I stopped doing that. But what I did do was begin to embrace it more in my own life with my own projects, not just do it for others, not just support others, not just support my friends and family and anyone else who was creative, because that's something I would do. I'd always be like, I didn't care about the quality. Like, it's funny, I was supporting other people in the way that my teacher explained it to me, but I never really felt comfortable doing that for myself. It's truly amazing what self-awareness can help us see and understand about our lives. So, creativity, and now I have this book, 2 books actually. I have an LOA workbook as well, and that's part of my creativity. To me, one of the standards I had was that, I would actually publish books. Like, if I published books that were good enough that someone would want to read, even if it was a few close friends and family, then I can be an artist, or I can be a creative, or whatever it is. Be passionate about what I care about. I just have learned so much about letting go of the idea of what other people think, especially as it relates to our creativity, especially as it relates to anything that we're kind of vulnerable about in our lives. We've got to create the compassion, the soft landing for ourselves first, and then we can handle whatever else comes at us. Creativity. I'm super grateful for creativity, and I think it's kind of cool. I didn't realize this previously. I chose creativity literally in the moment before launching this podcast to be the first one that I could run with. But I can do the whole show on creativity, and maybe we will. And if I get one of those requests from you at mattandreadycoaching.com, I'll be happy to do a whole podcast on creativity. But, yeah, I'm super grateful for it, because that's what's created the last 5 years of this podcast and the almost 200,000 downloads. Thank you very much over these last 5 years. And, I appreciate all of that. I really, really do. Because without creativity, so much of life doesn't exist, right? If we were robots, if we were autopilots, if we were stuck doing the exact same things every day, seeing the same people, doing nothing new, nothing different, there would be no creativity at all. I love to cook. I feel very creative when I cook. I feel very creative when I write. I feel very creative when I'm doing this podcast. So in this moment, I'm vibrating my creativity and following through on a passion and sharing it with people that, at least as far as I can tell, really enjoy it. And there's nothing better. We have this tribe that we've created under the original Matt and Phil show, and let's continue to as the Matt O'Grady Coaching Podcast, and then what will now become, the books that are going to be coming out, because I got several that I'm hoping to finish and launch in 2016. If I get to one more, I'll be really happy about it, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get 2 or 3 out next year. So without activity, none of that exists. So I'm super psyched and pumped, and hopefully get to hear from you about how creativity, it's just a beautiful word too. How feeling that creativity process inside you works. I'd love to hear about that. And if you give me some feedback, I'll be happy to share some during the podcast in the future. In future of these 1,000 things to be grateful for. So
be sure to come back for part 2 of this episode. Thank you again for joining us on the Matt O'Grady Coaching Podcast. Until next time, please go to mattogradycoaching.com and thelivingGratitudebook.com to learn more and receive your free micro-coaching session with Matt.